Welcome to the Elevated Entrepreneur. I'm your host, as always, Raylen Davis, and I am joined by one of my most requested guests, Miss Kayla Miller, my right hand in business and in life. Welcome to the podcast, Kayla. And actually, you're the first woman to be on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. How's that feel? Do you feel special?
I do feel special a little bit.
Okay, as you should. Okay, so first question, right out the gate. What's it like dating me?
Hard. I'm just kidding. You answer that question first.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. All right, we don't have to start there. No, we'll start with this though. So one of the reasons why, I wanted to have you on the podcast is one, because I think, oh my God, I didn't turn on any of the lights. All right, hold on. Connor, you can add this out if you want. We're making rookie mistakes right now.
Does it look better with the lights?
I don't know. Connor always yells at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours definitely does. Mine doesn't honestly look any different. Okay, anyway. Holy moly. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Are you so...
On a scale of 1 to 10, how chaotic is this situation right now?
10 out of 10.
Jeez Louise. All right. I'm not going to start over. I think we should start over. All right. Connor, edit all that out. Okay, welcome to the Elevated Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Raylan Davis, and today I'm joined by one of my most requested guests, my right hand in life and in business, the client retention specialist, the COO, the everything there is to do, the person that does all the work in my business, Miss Kayla Miller. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, babe. I'm also your fiance. Don't forget to mention that.
Did I not mention that?
I don't think so.
Okay, she's my fiance.
Yeah.
My original introduction for you was Kayla. It's
Kayla?
about to
Kayla?
Shit. Kayla, not about to be Miller time. Miller for now, Davis later. That was going to be my intro. But considering I already fucked it up, it wouldn't be good anyway. But no, I think one of the reasons why, one, I'm excited to have you on the podcast, but two, a lot of our clients have asked you to be on the podcast. People that just know us from online have asked it for you to be on the podcast. And I think partially is because, one of the things I realize is, one, you're obviously a huge part of my life. And we do share a little bit, online on Instagram, etc., of the way we interact with one each other. But to be honest with you, it's not even close. Very few people get to see the, behind the scenes of it. And so I think us doing this regularly is going to be fun. So I'm excited that you're here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think we start with the origin story. Like any good story, there's an origin story. So how did we meet?
We met the old-fashioned way on Hinge.
Mm-hmm.
And I swiped because you liked books. And then we bonded over books. And then I beat your ass in air hockey.
Yeah, so I was hoping you brought that up because I want to talk about how much of a psychopath you are. So we met, obviously, on the dating apps. And one of the first things for me that I knew that, this is going to be a good relationship is because we started talking about books first. As you know, I don't have the history of dating the most,
Sane.
Yeah. And so, for me, I was I think I need to, date someone that, has their shit together. So anyway, the fact that you even had books, I was like, oh, this is already, I'm winning, right? And then we started bonding over books, and then you were recommending books, and I think one of the things, we literally, our first sexual picture we sent to one another was of our books.
On our nightstand.
Yeah, on our nightstand. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna work out.
You were, sorry to interrupt you, but you were the first guy that I went on a date with that actually read books, which I really liked, and read books that I you knew what I was actually talking about when I would talk about business type stuff. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a really big deal. And so fast forward, we had our first date, which I don't know why I always confused our first and our third. So our first date was at fucking what's it called? Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Okay. So our first date's there because you. So this is what I thought. You, a typical girl. I'm really competitive. I'm good at games. Let's play a game. That kind of thing. And I was like, okay, here we go. Whatever. So we play air hockey, and first of all, Complete psychopath. Okay, I scored one time. Okay, again, we'll get this out of the way. Yes, you did beat the shit out of me. But I scored 1 point, and you slammed your puck thing on the I thought you were going to break the thing because I scored one time. Like,
and there's children everywhere.
Yeah, and then you were, like, swearing, and I was like, all right, I'm going to end up marrying this lady. That's for sure. And then from there, it's been great. I think, where was our other dates at? We went to...
we went to this, like, dingy dive bar, and that's when you sang karaoke. That was, like, our third date.
Yes, very romantically.
Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, F her gently. F her gently. That song by Tenacious D. If you don't know it, look it up. And so in my head, I was like, I'm gonna woo this lady. And
that was the moment that I was like, I'm gonna marry this guy.
Yeah, and I sang that song to you. I did a phenomenal job. The whole bar applauded. All 3 people that were in the bar, and now it's like, you know, a major part of it's like our wedding song. Mm-hmm. So that's a big deal. But okay, so. One of the other things I want to talk about, because I tell the story a lot, which is like the moment that I told you I was going to be an entrepreneur. So like, you know the story, but, you know, obviously, you know, I had my big boy corporate job gets ended. I found another job that didn't go very well because he, you know, the business ended up falling under, pandemic happens. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And I remember going to you and telling you, like, it was almost like I had to tell you that I had a STD. Like, it was like, it felt that, like, stressful because I was like, you know, I don't know how you're going to react. And obviously, you know, the other part of it too was like, there's going to be a huge lifestyle change for us, right? Like, no more 9 to 5, like, you know, it's going to suck for a while. Like, I think I inherently knew that it was going to be kind of tough. And I think your response was like, you know, I always knew you were going to be an entrepreneur. And that was the most shocking kind of thing in the world.
I don't know why that's so. Why is that so shocking?
I knew, again, like, I knew your background. I knew that, like, you'd always been around entrepreneurs. I think it was just shocking that you knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur before I did.
Yeah, on our first date, I knew. I was like, oh, he should be in Genius Network one day. That'd be cool, because you just have that mentality that all the crazy. I think I mostly knew because you're crazy.
Yeah, like. I think so that was, I think that too was a really big point for our relationship, that I was like, oh, she's as they say, a ride or die. Like, I was like, she's gonna be down for the cause no matter what. And we definitely had some, like, early successes, but also some, like, super low points. And this is part of the, you know, of the journey that I think people don't talk a lot about, that is like, look, for the first year, like, I think year, probably longer, right? Like, you were footing the bill for a lot of stuff. Like, it went from, like, I was doing pretty well and we needed, you know, we were always taken care of, to now I'm an entrepreneur, paychecks are hit or miss at times, like, whatever, to like, all right, babe, like, you gotta pay all these groceries. Like, I don't have money. Like, and also, like, there was the low point for me during, like, the build up to where we are now, was needing to ask my girlfriend at the time for money. Like, I had never experienced that before. And I was like, this sucks. But obviously you were ride or die, so it worked out.
I mean, that would be weird if I, like, didn't help you.
Well, here's the thing, and I think we got to talk about this, right? Is that I know people that when they decide to be an entrepreneur, their significant other is not down for the cause. Like, they're not ride or die, as they say. So, like, literally, they'll be, like, frustrated about, you know, how they have to go through a season of suffering, like a season of, like, hey, we don't have money for this or that, and they're used to a certain lifestyle, and you know, that person has to pick up the slack, but for whatever reason, they don't want to do it. And I think one of the things that's also really important in a relationship, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's like, you both have to be going down the same path and be open to, like, the journey, and be open to, like, the idea that, again, I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like there's no way I could have done it without you. That's an obvious statement. But also, like, I don't know that I would have, like, had the, what's the term for it? Like, had the, like, I needed the approval, I guess. I don't know.
You would have been able to do it without me.
But I think
I didn't really do anything. But also, I feel like if you're going to date someone that is like an entrepreneur or has that mindset, you kind of have to be willing to be supportive of that. Otherwise, go dates. Like, if you want someone that's going to be around all the time and not mediocre, it's okay to, like, not be an entrepreneur. But what am I trying to, I'm trying to word this in a good way. I feel like most women want to date someone that is around all the time and they get upset. But if you want someone like that, you can't date an entrepreneur. So, like, in my mind, I'm helping you now, but, like, it's going to be worth it later because we're going to live the life that we want to live. So right now we might not have time to, like, be lazy and stuff. But if you want to date someone like that, then just date, like, a college kid that just wants to sit at home and play video games all the time. Like, if you want someone that's home all the time.
Yeah.
It's always weird to me when women complain about stuff like that. Because I'm like, so what are you going to have to look forward to later, I guess?
Yeah, it's like you can, like, I think a lot of people want, and this is both men and women, but they want their cake and eat it too. Like, you want somebody that's around all the time, but also you want someone that has money.
Driven.
Yeah. Like, it's those two things. Yeah. And I think we're fortunate in that we're both passionate about entrepreneurship. We both enjoy business. And so, a lot of what we talk about, now granted, I think we'll get into this too, which is like the ability to have certain like things in our schedules that allow us to not always talk about work. Because that's also important. Something that we're still, like, granted, like when we give this advice, like, know that, like, we're still working on it. But I think it's one of those things that it has to be, the two people have to be on the same page on it. But often it's not. But so one of the things I talk about a lot is our weekly schedule. It was your idea for us to do that. So talk to everybody about kind of what led you to go, hey, we need to have a weekly relationship check-in, and then, like, what questions and stuff we decided to go on.
I think I saw Jennifer Hootie and Alex Moscow do, like, a weekly check-in on her Instagram. And then I just changed the questions a little bit to fit us better. But I've realized when we don't do those every week, that's when we have issues with communication and, like, our routine is off, and then we fight over, like, the dumbest things. And then, what we have, like, how many questions do we have on there? We change it a little bit too. Like, we have to check in about the check-in, and, like, it fits what is going on in our life at the time. So if there's something that we can be better at, then that'll be a question that we can, like, gauge how the week went. You can probably explain it better than I can.
No, I mean, that's absolutely right. Yeah. I think the thing I love about it too is that it's really easy to get unconscious about a relationship. Yeah. It's really easy to go on autopilot. Yeah. And, like, especially with what we do in entrepreneurship, we get busy. Like, and then we'll blink, and this it's happened to us. It's on our calendar, and we're like, okay, we're going to do this, in a couple days or next day or whatever. And then, like, 3 weeks go by and we haven't done one. And I think too that, like, if you aren't conscious about that, it's really easy, because, like, you hear this a lot, people talking about falling into, like, friendship, right? And especially for us, we have that added danger of, like, friendship and coworker. Yeah. And then, like, and then a relationship. So I think that daily check-in. So some of the questions, for example, that I enjoy are, like, things like, how did I do anything to make you that hurt your feelings? Like, did I do anything? Basically, how can I get better? Because I think what people forget is, just like entrepreneurship, just like anything skill-based, it's a skill set. Like, being in a relationship is a fucking skill set. Yeah. And let's be honest, like, most of us are not equipped to be able to be a really good partner. And, like, especially I'll just speak for myself. I'm selfish as shit. Like, I'm very selfishly minded. Like, and so I need to constantly have that check-in to go, all right, how am I affecting this other person?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're selfish. You do little things every day to, like, make sure that I'm okay. Sometimes you forget, but I think I'm probably the more difficult one, because I feel like I'm not hard to please because I communicate everything that I want, but when I don't get it, that's when I become bitchy.
like how so?
So, like, I don't know, that's just, I think it just goes back to a routine thing. And that's when I get annoyed. That's why I get annoyed when we don't do the check-ins, because it's like the daily habits that you do with the ECA students, but for our relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've communicated all this shit. Like, why can't we just do it? I don't understand what's so difficult about it. Like, I have it on the calendar, and it's my fault too sometimes. Like, sometimes I forget to do it, or like have the meeting and stuff. We'll just ignore it because life gets in the way. But I feel like you forget to communicate because you're so like all over the place sometimes, but I'm like an over communicator. So like that helps us meet in the middle, and then we both get all our needs met.
Well, I was thinking about this too. Like the reason why I think we work so well together is because I'm really good. Like, I do better with structure for sure, but I'm better able to deal with chaos. So like if things are schedules out of whack, whatever, like I'm still okay. Now, granted, if that goes on too long, then if we're just like anybody, like I need structure. You on the flip side are like the opposite. Like you go a day without the structure, then there's an issue. But I think the reason why it works is because I need more structure in my life, and you could probably do a little bit better with like dealing with chaos.
Yeah. So
like, but one without the other, I don't think like we're as successful or as happy, without the one, right? Which then leads me to this. So like in the daily questions that we have, which one do you feel like is like the most beneficial? Like if somebody was listening to this and they're like, you know what? Because again, there's a lot of people that have a partner that maybe isn't an entrepreneur. And they'll feel, because this is what happens. You feel, let's just say if you were working in a 9-to-5 still, because you also, backstory, you were working in a 9-to-5. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then you left and started working, in the business with me. And so when you were in your 9-to-5, it was, I think, even harder. Because again, you had your own thing, I had my own thing, and we were like so separate that like it was hard to catch you up on everything and whatever. So the weekly things were important. So imagine again, you're not an early stage entrepreneur, and your partner has no fucking clue what's going on in the entrepreneur world. You at least know what's up in terms of like the entrepreneur stuff because people you've worked with before. But some of these people have partners that have never, you know what I mean, experienced this before, and so they're like, I don't understand why you can't just turn off your computer at 5. Like, what the hell? And you're like, but you at least get it. Yeah. But anyway, so if somebody were to start and wanted to do the daily questions or the weekly relationship meeting, what are some like basic questions that they could start with?
I think my favorite question on there is how can I best support you this week? Because then it like forces you to look at what's going on in your life right now and what's stressing you out. And if there's just like what's like the smallest thing that my partner can do that's gonna help with that, or at least I'll know like, okay, he has this coming up with work, or, this week there's like this big meeting coming up. I can help with whatever. That just, if there's like things I'm going to start nitpicking you at, that's like in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, it doesn't really matter that like he's leaving his dirty underwear on the floor when I just did fucking laundry, but he's stressed out and he doesn't give a fuck about cleaning right now. So I think that helps a lot. That's probably that's probably my favorite question on there.
But you know why it also helps me is because I'm sometimes not self-aware of what I need. And so that question really does challenge me, because sometimes I'll be thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know what I need. Like, I don't know. I just like, I'm doing the things, but it does stop me for a second and go like, no, there is something. And one thing you do a really good job, and this is also in a relationship, but also in terms of like, not just the relationship, but also in business, is like, you will force me to let you help me. Like, perfect example is just before this, right? We had to do like some automations. You're stubborn about it, though. Oh, I am. So like just before this this recording, we had to do something for signing up one of our new ECA members, and there's like an automation, like an email we have to send them for like onboarding and stuff. And you were like, hey, tell me what I need to do to set it up. Like, I'll take care of it. And I was like, nah, that's fine. And then you sat there literally right next to me while I did it, because you were like, no, like, I need to learn this shit. And normally I'm like, not to do it myself. But then here's the stupidest thing about entrepreneurship sometimes, and how my brain, I won't just say all entrepreneurs, but how my brain works, is like, if I did it myself and then I did it again later on, I'd be really pissed at you.
Yeah, that's why I sat there, because I'm like, I don't want to like hear him say, I guess I'll just do everything myself then. Well, you should have done this yourself.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like, even if you weren't like that, that would be really bad on my part. Yeah. If I just let you do everything.
Yeah. So, but again, most people would just be like, okay, cool, he'll just do it himself. But again, with you, you're knowledgeable in working with entrepreneurs. So I guess, do you want to tell everybody the backstory about like, you know, how you grew up? Basically, you were raised by entrepreneurs, which I think made you like a little bit more, like it made the transition into entrepreneurship a little bit easier. But do you want to explain that journey?
I mean, I don't feel like I was raised by entrepreneurs, but my mom worked with entrepreneurs my whole life basically. And I guess I kind of was, because my dad's kind of an entrepreneur. Like he has his own jewelry business. But my mom mostly, like, she worked with entrepreneurs, but she also has that mindset. So she kind of passed that on to me a little bit. And it's really hard to talk about this on here because I don't want to give stuff away about people, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just, you can tiptoe.
I don't know. Connor's going to have to edit like 30 seconds of that out because I don't know how to say it.
I'll just say it. Okay.
Okay.
So your mom, I don't know why. Again, it's like, it's not that, something that like a secret. Your mom works with very high level 7-figure entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And has for the last 20 plus
30 years. Yeah.
30 years. And so your mom's always been around super high level entrepreneurs. And then obviously there you are, baby Kayla. Like there's a great picture of like the early stages of like one of the entrepreneurs that your mom works with, early stages of the business, like sitting on boxes of like the early stages of.
I was playing my Game Boy though.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're playing Game Boy in this like new office, and or not new office, but like
we were at like a conference.
Yeah, so like even then, like you were, I think like there was just information of entrepreneurship like seeping into your head.
Yeah,
even
my mom,
during that time.
My mom made me read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like 9.
Which is funny because now it's like
idea.
a big book, but it's like you've been on that for a hot minute.
Yeah, but it's not like I understood what I was reading though. I was like, I don't really understand any of this, but okay. But yeah, so my mom is the reason why I kind of got into this, I guess, and she's just always instilled in me to be resourceful. And I think she gave me like Tony Robbins tapes like in high school, and like I would like complain about stuff that is so stupid and doesn't matter, and she'd just be like, everybody has a story, like, is that gonna be your fucking story? Like, just get over it. Like, who cares? Or I would like cry to her about like a boy or something, and she'd be like, again, is that gonna be your story? Like, why do you want to be with somebody that makes you cry?
Yeah, that's why honestly, like, I absolutely adore your mom because she's very. Your mom's
puts
very
me in my place, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't have to. So like, you'll call your mom and complain to her about me, and your mom would be like, "Yeah, that's what's up." Like whatever. Like, but I think the thing about your mom is that she's like basically a stoic. Like she's very stoic in like her approach to things, and like I think that's really. I mean, shit. Your mom's helped me a ton in like even thinking through things. It's even in her silence. Like I'll be explaining something and she won't say shit, and I'm just like, yeah, that's right. That's a stupid idea. And then I'll like go back and start thinking. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. I'll redo that one, you know. Or she'd just be like, okay. But also like, you know, between you and your mom, like when we first started getting started, your mom does this really amazing thing of just giving us books. Yeah. And the thing I really appreciate about your mom too is that, you know, if like on paper you would think, oh, I guarantee, you know, Kayla's mom's like doing this for them or doing that. Your mom doesn't help us at all. She points us in a direction, and then what I love about that is that it lets us fuck up. Like I'm sure that's
how you learn.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's tons of stuff your mom can be like, oh, don't do that, or don't like go do this, but she doesn't, and she just lets us do it on our own.
Yeah,
and so we can fail up, and I don't know if we would I don't know that we would have gotten where we are to a place where we are right now without all that, you know, all those mistakes. I really don't. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so you basically get raised with all this entrepreneur. What was the deciding factor for you to actually like start working with me? Because I've been saying it forever. Which, by the way, this was like I think one of the hardest parts of our relationship because when you made that decision, you went from always, even though you worked with entrepreneurs, you always had like a stable job. Like you knew the paycheck was coming, like all that, and then you joined working with me, and then that was chaotic, especially in the beginning of it. So like, what I guess were you going through to make that decision, and would you do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again. So I was sick of my 9 to 5, and I wanted something different. And I was interviewing at all these jobs for like months, and I got a couple offers. A lot of them didn't work out, but I just wasn't excited about any of them. And I knew that I was scared to work with you. But I knew that was also a good thing. Like if you're a little bit scared to do something, you should probably do it. But I think the turning point, I remember we did a workshop and Anna was talking, I think it was Anna. She did like the productivity one, but she also talked about how when you you make the move to quit your 9 to 5, there's no limit on the amount of money that you can make. And that was in the back of my mind too. And I know we work really well together as long as we're on our routine.
Yeah, and I think my whole thing was the entire time I was like, you're doing the work anyway. Like you're doing the 9 to 5 stuff, and then you would still help me with Elevated, and whether it was like, I mean, obviously it's not as in depth as what you're doing now, but you would still like give advice or send out emails or do whatever when you could. And now, I think the thing that I really enjoy is that you get to own like that side of the house. One, it helps me not to think about it. But then two, it's like for my whole thing, and we had a discussion the other night, my whole thing is I knew that every job you went into, you were never going to be utilized to like how smart you are. And that was the thing that always pissed me off. I was like, I don't want you to go work another fucking job and there's like, you only are using 10% of what you could do. Like even today, I think people that we work with now are seeing it more and more. But like your ability to read copy and see what's working and why it works, and your ability to break down, other people's like swipe files and copies, your ability to like see, hey, this is going to work, or this is a better client onboarding. Like your ability to see all of that is amazing, and it just never was utilized before.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, in doing this, selfishly, I was like, this would be dope. But I think again, for you, it was probably difficult because, again, like, we don't have necessarily the safety net. Like, if we have a bad week or a bad month, we have a bad month versus like a business that you're working with has been established for a long time. Like, you still get your paycheck.
Those jobs will always be out there, though.
Fair.
That's always in the back of my mind, too. But I don't really want to go back to that. So.
Yeah. But it's also good to know that. So one of the things I want to talk about too was that you are an avid book recommender. That's not a word?
It is now.
It is now. You're an avid book recommender. One of the books was Women Who Love Too Much. Mm-hmm. Women Who Love Too Much. So why are you obsessed with that book?
Well, I read it after I got out of a relationship, and it helped me realize, I feel like regardless if you've been in a healthy relationship, toxic relationship, if you're a woman, this book, everybody needs to read it at some point, because it just forces you to look back at like how you grew up and why you have this kind of relationships that you have. So it's good for everybody at some point, but I'm obsessed with it because it helped me be ready for the relationship that I was looking for. Like, I knew what I wanted, but there was a lot of things that I had to like learn about myself, and that helped me a lot. And it just talks about like codependency and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, but every woman should go read that book.
Yeah, and I've seen you recommend that book like 15,000 times, but
yeah.
It is, I think the nice thing about when you and I met is that we both came off of like a hiatus from dating. Yeah. Like we both were like, you know what, let's figure out our crap. And then we met like pretty soon after we decided to start dating again, which is cool. So then I think for most people, you do go into this thing of like being dependent. And in my humble opinion, the reason why I think our relationship works well is that the way that I explain it is like we're both on parallel lines of like we're both going the same direction, right? Like we both want to succeed in our given things. We both want to do whatever, but we're going there together still, right?
Yeah.
And we have those checkpoints. But for you have your own like hobbies and things that you like to talk about and do and discuss. You go and hang out with your friends, like you do those things, and then I have my things. And like as long as we're still growing, I think the number one issue, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, which I know you won't because we've talked about this, but I think the biggest issue with people like breaking up and not working out is simply because one person stops growing.
Yeah.
Right? Like one person, or sometimes, like again, we have friends that are like this, where they met when they're both stagnant and they're both fucking losers, and then one person goes, I want to better my life, and they start reading books and doing whatever. The other person get insecure, and then they break up. Like, and so I think for us, like as long as we're both reading, working out, trying new things, like even if they're not together, I think that's when we're at our best.
Yeah. Well, you're either going to grow apart or you're going to grow together. I'd rather grow together.
Yeah.
With someone.
Also, it's boring. Like, well, who? Yeah, I don't understand. Like it's like being an autopilot is like the scariest thing to me, I think. Like if we get to a point where like going through the motions and, I think there's phases of it probably where you need it, maybe. But even yesterday, and I won't lie, like that's why yesterday I was like, I need a day off. Like I need to completely veg out, sleep all day. Like I told you.
You couldn't even do that. You still worked, dude. And then you still had to read.
Dude, because I for what, again, maybe this is a good thing. But half the day, first of all, we had to wake up the ass crack of dawn to do these engagement photos. Like when I say ass crack, I mean like we woke up at 3:45 to be there by what time did it be?
5:30. I don't know why you woke up so early. Like it's not like you have to like do cute things.
I woke up early to make sure you woke up early.
Oh, thank you.
Because I was concerned because you're always late to everything, and so I was like, I should do that. Then also too, like I like to ease into, like I don't want to wake up and then rush to, Not to mention I was a little concerned about the bags under my eyes. I was like, well, I should probably wake up and, and they turned out phenomenal. Shout out to Kayleen, which is an interesting name because it's like Raylen, Kayla, Kayleen. I like it. Anyway, she did a phenomenal job. But we had to wake up with Ask Her on. What's my point of that? I can't remember what I was saying. So my point was, so after that, before we even did that, right, I was like, well, I want to take a day off. Like I was feeling really, really tired throughout the week. And, I remember looking at you and I said, I think I might be overdoing it a little bit. And you go, you think? And I was like, okay, I need a day off. So, we did that. We come home and we were thinking about doing the podcast right after that. And I was like, no, let's just take a nap. So we got home, we ate Chick-fil-A, which was a huge disappointment. And then we took a nap and woke up like noon, right? And then we watched a movie, The Gray Man, on Netflix, which was phenomenal. So good. Like I was actually very impressed. I could watch
that again.
Yeah, we might have to. Like the dialogue was phenomenal. Yeah. Yes, that's what made it amazing. Okay, so we watched that, and then I watched I was in the middle of a Bill Burr stand up because I was like, I'm literally not gonna move. You went and saw your friend and saw her new puppy, and I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing. But you left, and like half hour in, I was like, I hate my life. I am a piece of shit. Like I've done nothing with my life. Like I felt tired, even more tired, not doing anything. And I was like, fuck it. So I got up and I was like, I'm gonna finish a book. So I finished the Tom Segura book, which is really good, and then started reading my other book, and then finished some work stuff. But I think it is important to take time off. But looking back, what would have been more probably beneficial to me would have been like shooting my bow, or like maybe us going to a pool and then reading. We've done that. Like that felt very relaxing. Like I think there's other ways, but to me it's like, also I think I needed to sleep. I did need to take a nap. I think I was a little tired. I forgot the whole point of that whole entire story. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know.
You felt like a piece of shit for.
Yeah, I think that was the point. I felt like a piece of shit. Oh, my point was, I don't know. People live their life like that every day.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, there's people that are like, they get off of work and then like, oh, I need to relax, and then they don't do shit. And I think it was in Ryan Holiday's book, Stillness is Key, where he talks about the difference between leisure and relaxing. Right? It's like, relaxing. People think it's just, you binge Netflix. You sit on your ass, you take a nap all day. Like, that's relaxing, but it has no benefit to you. Versus leisure, is doing something that's not related to your work. Painting. I'm not a painter, but like painting, reading, fucking whatever. Like, I think still, believe it or not, I would still put like jujitsu underneath that because I'm not thinking about work. It's something completely different. I think the thing is like, I don't have to do that to make money. It still is fun. It's a hobby. So I think, on the other side of that too is I think in relationships both parties need to have a hobby.
Yeah.
Otherwise
something
it won't
outside the relationship where you can like go off on your own and do whatever you want.
That's why I like that you go to your fucking your book club.
Well, we haven't had book club
I know.
in a
What
while,
are you doing?
which I'm sad about. Well, two of them just had babies, so and then they just got married, so we have to wait like a little bit and then we can get back into it.
Yeah, sounds like an excuse. Tell them suck it up.
They just had a baby.
Yeah, no, you can't read books with a baby?
I mean, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, they can figure it out. But also, like, just get other people in it. I don't know, or make your own. Because again, I like that you had, like, for you, you just always looked forward to doing the book club.
Yeah.
That was like your favorite thing to go through every month.
Yeah, we got to get back into that.
Yeah. And also it was not related to business, obviously, because it was always like weird psychological thrillers. Although, spoiler alert, everybody, Kayla doesn't finish the book on time. Because every time I've had to drive her to book club, she's finishing it in the car.
That's just when we have books that I don't really like that much. When they're really good, I will finish it in like, it's either I finish it in like a day or I'm like listening to it twice as fast on the way to book club in the car.
Yeah, so I've finished some books. Yeah, I've probably read many thrillers, the endings of many books because of you, because I just happen to be there. What I also think is really funny is that, like, I know a lot of guys can relate to this, how many stupid things that you watch that I hate, and then I somehow get into it.
Yeah, but you like it. Like the Kardashians.
I hate the Kardashians. But, like, it's when it's on and I hear somebody say something really stupid, I'm like, wait, what did she say? And then next thing you know, I'm into it. The other one, though, that, like, I'm not even mad about was, what was that one? Bridgerton.
Yeah.
You were watching that, and I overheard something. And then I was like, what the fuck? And the next thing you know, I'm
watching the whole season. And
we were binge watching the crap out of it. That was a good show.
The first season was good.
Yeah, the first season. And then they got rid of they didn't get rid of him. He left, but the main guy who was in Gray Man. What's his name?
Reggie?
The main dude in Bridgerton.
I don't know his name. I can't remember his name.
The only thing I don't like about those shows, and we've talked about this, but only thing I don't like about the shows is the entire time you're like, bro, just tell her. Like, I just feel like that's 90% of the thing. It's like, just tell her whatever the hell it is. How you
feel.
Yeah, just tell her how you feel, bro. Or like, I mean, those shows are fun, but like,
you're a sucker for a love story, though.
I am. Well, no, just yeah.
No, you are.
What other show? That was the only show that was like that, though. Ooh, that's a lie.
That weird like fairy show that you used to like.
Oh my god, I do love that show. Carnival.
I think
it was
so,
on.
Yeah. I didn't like that show.
Carnival. I know it's not. It's like Carnival Row.
Something like that.
On Amazon Prime, which with Orlando Bloom.
Cara Delevingne.
You're really good with names. I never remember the names. I was gonna say Olivia Wilde. Who are the people I get confused? It's Olivia Wilde, Winona
Ryder.
Yeah, and then like
Natalie Portman.
They all look the same. They're the same person. Like they're interchangeable.
No,
every time.
Not at all.
Dude, for years I thought
one of them's like 20 something, and the other one's like.
Who's 20 something?
Cara Delevingne.
Oh, she wasn't in the 3 though.
Yeah.
Well,
like, who else did you just say?
Natalie Portman, Olivia Wilde.
Oh, I guess they are kind of all the same age.
They all look the same to me.
Yeah.
The same people. Like literally, I saw this thing, that was like remember when the guy from TED, was getting a divorce from Olivia Wilde, okay? And then so they did something online, and I go, oh, the chick from Stranger Things was married to Ted. Just like they all look the same to me, but also Stranger Things is also pretty solid too. Okay, so one of the other things, what did I also want to talk to you about? I can't remember. Do you have anything else on your mind that you wanted to discuss? Also, this is what I think is because you are super helpful in this. Is that I think every podcast episode should be you as the co-host. That's what I think.
I don't know about that.
I know. Why
I
not?
don't think so. Because I don't really like being on camera.
You hate being in the front. So that's also I think why we work together is because or work so well together is you
I don't
just like your
the
mom.
Spotlight.
Yeah, you and your mom are very similar in that you like to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like your mom hates being on camera. Like
I feel like she doesn't hate as much as she used to.
Yeah.
She's gotten better. She doesn't really care now.
But she's had 20 plus years of practice.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Like maybe so what you're telling me is in 30 years you're gonna be like, all right,
not.
let's do more camera stuff together.
Don't count on it.
Well, this is the thing that drives me nuts is like with our relationship. I think again, the more podcast episodes, because I am gonna force you to do this more often. I think we'll open up more, and it'll be more entertaining. People can see like how we really are. But I always say like you and I could take over TikTok. We would crush on TikTok.
I don't think you mean that with the podcast, though. I think you just mean that, like, getting funny things on, like, catching funny moments on camera.
Yeah.
Between us.
Well, that
of
too.
Us, like, bickering.
Yeah. Well, that too. What also is because, like, what is it? What is the fucking thing? I was like, every time you say something, I'm like, I'm adding to the list of, like, what is it? Like, wonderful things, heartwarming things Kayla says to me. I forgot the other one you did recently. It was so nice. Also, like, I think, I can't remember. There was something that came up the other day, like the little things that, like, again, people think I'm the crazy one in the relationship, but like, here's the thing, we'll be laying.
That depends who you ask.
Like, bro, like, and I think this might be just a woman thing in general in relationship, but like, even like cuddling in bed, you're like, cuddle me, like, oh, that was a thing.
Oh, cuddle me, bitch.
Yeah, you go cuddle me, bitch. I'm like, oh, all right. And then what happens? 10 minutes later, you literally throw me off. Like, you throw my hand away. You're like, too hot. I'm like, okay, pick one. Pick one.
I did pick one. And then I picked something else like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, it's just little things. It's the little things that I think are hilarious. But I think next time what we'll do is this burning questions thing.
Yeah, we should do that next time. And then we only talked about one of the meetings that we have, so we have to talk about all the other meetings that we have.
What other meetings we got?
We're supposed to do like a weekly mini mastermind. We always put a date night on the calendar once a week.
Date night. Talk about date night. What do we do for date night? Are we doing date night tonight because we didn't do it yesterday? Although in my mind, the engagement photos were date night. But I think I still want to go see Nope though.
Yeah, I guess that could be a date night.
Yeah.
But we did go out. We did like a double date too. Oh yeah, on Friday.
True. So. Yeah, we were doing a lot. We are gonna go see Nope tonight though. But also, yeah. So why date night? Why did we start doing that?
Because we have to set aside time during the week to not talk about work and just talk about like anything but work. Mm-hmm. But that can be hard for you sometimes.
Yeah. Well, work is like. Again, I'm working on it. I think the other thing is too is I need to read more non-business related books. That helps sometimes. Yeah. Or well, it's funny because we had that rule recently of like no TV during the week, which has been great because then we've been reading more. Mm-hmm. But the problem with that is not having TV is that we don't talk about shows anymore. Yeah. So without talking about shows, all I have left is work and like these business books.
Yeah, because it's not like we're away from each other during the day.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? How do you actually work in the same room together?
Well, we don't work in this. Yeah. Yeah. I just work downstairs. You work upstairs, and then you're in meetings all day. Yeah, but and then it still works, but I still know you're like upstairs, so. Because
I'm loud, according to you. Yeah. We set you up with a cute little desk. We went and bought it, picked it up, brought it home. How many times did you use that desk?
I don't know.
Yeah. Why haven't you used it? Because you sound too loud.
Yeah, you're too loud. I have to go downstairs.
Yeah. But I think okay. So the date nights obviously are important because we have to make sure that like we actually are dating one another still.
Yeah.
What have we done? What was your favorite date night we've done?
I don't know.
I can't remember the.
What have we done? I feel like we've been missing them a lot.
Yeah, lately. We did. It's mostly like.
I feel like we did something really fun. I have a really bad memory, I think.
You do.
With stuff like this. Like, I can't remember what exactly I did last
It wasn't
week,
really like a date night, but we, like, when one of my favorite memories, which is like weird because it wasn't like we were alone.
Oh, the VR thing.
That was date night? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, we did date night. We did VR. That was fun. I also really enjoyed when we just went to your grandma's and no one was there. Yeah. And we went to the pool and read. Like, that was nice because it was like relaxing.
Yeah.
But also we got to like just be around each other. That was cool. Some other like ideas, I guess, for date night could be, which I think we're gonna need to do it eventually here soon anyway because of the the fact that we're moving soon. Maybe we'll talk about that later on too. But like we need to go hiking. Like how is ridiculous? I was telling somebody this the other day.
Do you even like hiking?
Yeah, I like walking uphill. Like here's the thing. The funny thing is that we live. If people could see how close we are to South Mountain, like. We could see the mountain, and it'll be a 10-minute drive, and then we can go walk. Yeah. And we've lived here. I've lived here for 3 years. You've lived here for a year, and we've been together for 3 years, and yet we've never gone hiking together. Yeah. How does that make any sense? And so anyway,
because I don't think either of us like hiking all that much. We don't like waking up early and like doing stuff like that. Yeah. Plus, it's hot.
Yeah, we would have to get up when we like
the ass crack of dawn again.
Yeah, but it's like that could be something we do for date night, and I think date night makes it like it has to be at night.
A weekly date.
Weekly date. Yeah, so maybe we'll come up with some ideas for other things we can do for a date. But anything else you want to get off your chest before we jump out of here? You did a great job. I'm proud of you.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I don't like talking.
Yeah.
On camera.
Well, so. I think you'll get better at it.
We'll see.
And I think one of the things that we'll just practice is just like I said, just having more fun on the camera or on the mic or whatever. But anyway, so I appreciate you being on, and this was fun, and we'll do it again soon next week.
Never.
Think we're doing it again next week.
Sure.
I think wouldn't it be fun though if like you were just in the background, like for all the episodes we did, like you just always are in that chair.
No.
We'll have a camera on you, and then you can just jump in every once in a while. We'll talk about it. I think it's a good idea. I think I need a female co-host. Mm-hmm. It's important because otherwise I'm gonna get attacked for only having men on the podcast.
No, just have other females on there without me.
Okay, so
I'll find them.
I was gonna say. So get me some females to have on the I want Elisa on. She never responded to me. She doesn't like me. And then who else do we want on?
Carrie, my mom.
Yes.
Chrissy.
Your mom's not gonna do the podcast.
If I did it, then she can. No.
Your mom's not gonna do the podcast. You just said she hates being on camera. There's 0% chance to do it.
Yeah, I said she's not as bad now.
She's not gonna do the podcast. Again, that'll be our extra surprise guest. So Carrie, yes. Elisa, yes. Mm-hmm. Your mom, that'll be our like Hail Mary throw. All right, I'm putting you in task of this. You are now in charge of getting podcast hosts.
Okay.
Which you've been doing anyway. All right, that's it. Bye, everybody.